and Jennifer literally brings us home.
Meanwhile, Jennifer and Brad decided to form their own production company, Plan B.
We have about 17 projects in development. We love that process of development from beginning, from a book, from an article, to see it through to fruition.
Jennifer immediately jumped into Along Came Polly, co-starring Ben Stiller. For her role as a free-spirited cocktail waitress, Jen earned her biggest tip yet, a cool $5 million.
So working with her was great because when you're doing a comedy, and she's sort of like no bull. She just kind of comes in, does her thing, knows what she wants to do, and doesn't have any weirdness about it.
Bruce Almighty premiered in May 2003. Box office was heavenly. More than $100 million the first week.
I mean, I know I woke up this morning and I felt like my boobs were bigger. I mean, do they look bigger to you?
What? No. Bigger?
Oh, come on! Look at them!
The following year, Along Came Polly also generated big numbers. Jennifer Aniston had moved into some elite company.
Can Julia Roberts carry a film? I think we have to put Jen not just knocking at that door, but she's in that door now, you know. She can carry a film.
It's where the acclaim is, where the statuettes are, it's where the money is, it's where self-satisfaction is. She's not going to make any big mistakes, I don't think, but the public ultimately decides, and they seem to be on her side, so I think she's got a good start.
Coming up, Jen alone.
I'll tell you one thing for sure. Jennifer would never compromise a relationship for a career twist.
Jennifer's pretty good about all the stuff that is said in the tabloids. She's pretty solid in knowing who she is and not letting the media dictate who she is.
Jennifer Aniston seemed to lead a fairy tale life. She had a hit TV show, a successful movie career, and the sexiest husband in the world. In 2002, things got even sweeter. Jen won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series.
It feels wonderful. It felt wonderful for the last 9 years, and this just makes it even feel more wonderful.
Rachel Green could have been a spoiled brat that everybody wanted to hate, but Jennifer brought heart and lovability. Everything about Rachel that could have been seen as just being harsh and selfish, Jennifer brought a vulnerability to the role. She made her real.
In June 2003, Jen found herself on a different kind of A-list.
She topped the Forbes Power list, and she is a producer in her own right, and she was part of the most popular show on TV, one that was headed for a rich syndication deal. So all that's going to serve her well in the future. She knows her way around the business negotiation.
That November, Jen finally won her court battle against Celebrity Skin, the magazine that published topless photos of her 3 years earlier. The amount of the settlement was not disclosed, but for Jen, the lawsuit was never about money.
Her privacy is pretty important to her, and that was an intense invasion of privacy. And she fought back and protected herself.
Then came the day NBC execs and millions of fans dreaded. On January 23, 2004, the cast of Friends taped the final episode after 10 blockbuster years.
We've grown up together and, gone through many life changes together and gotten married and had babies, and so it's been a pretty intense time together. How do you leave a happy marriage, which is what it'll be, You don't want that to ever end.
I remember the last episode of Friends, her best friends were all in the front row, and I thought, that's just so great. That whole January that the show was wrapping up, our friends referred to as January, because it was a really emotional time for her when Friends ended. That was a chapter in her life that was, spectacular.
It's an amazing time, and it was 6 great people, who really loved each other. So, the fact we don't get to see each other every day is a bummer.
Here we go.
Jen jumped into her movie career full force.
She struggled to get a job because she could pretty much get any job she wants with the right scripts, and scripts that are different and varied and shows what she has to offer. Yeah, that's always a little scary.
Jen's choices reflected her versatility. First, she shot Rumor Has It, a romantic comedy with Kevin Costner. Then she went for Chills in Derailed, a thriller filmed on location in London. Leading man Clive Owen knew his co-star had the chops for suspense.
Comedy is very, very difficult to pull off, you know, and she's very, very good at it and very deft, and you have to be very smart to play comedy well. So it's just applying it to something else. I don't think that, you know, it's a huge leap for her in that way. It's just that she maybe hasn't done it before.
3,000 miles away in New York, Brad Pitt teamed up with Angelina Jolie for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Production wrapped in September 2004. In that December, Brad traveled the world to promote another film, Ocean's 12. The following month, Mr. and Mrs. Pitt announced their union was in trouble.
Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston sent out a joint statement through their publicists saying that they were going to take a trial separation.
They said that this was the result of a lot of thought, a lot of consideration, but they were going to formally separate after 7 years together, 4 years of marriage and 3 years of dating.
There's a lot of speculation that it's over a baby, that Brad wanted babies, Jen didn't want babies. But based on interviews that I've done and interviews I've read, she really does like kids. So it just seems to be it's got to be more a case of schedules didn't work out, timing is difficult, and, you know, I mean, who knows?
I'll tell you one thing for sure. Jennifer would never compromise a relationship for a career choice. Her loves and her friends now and at the end of her life will still be the most important thing to her.
In March 2005, Jennifer and Brad arrived in Las Vegas separately to attend Show West, the largest convention for studio and theater owners in the world.
Show West picked Jennifer Aniston as being their female film star of the year. But I think what they're picking up here is not only her breadth of work, but also her potential.
There's been a lot of candidates for America's Sweetheart, but she certainly ranks among them, and the fact that she's shown a lot of dignity and grace and poise only plays in her favor.
This is incredible. I love what I do. I have a great time. We work with amazing people. All of the studios have been just so wonderful and warm and welcoming, and I just hope I get to keep doing it.
A week later, talk of a Brad and Jen reconciliation ceased. Jennifer filed for divorce from her husband of 4.5 years. She cited irreconcilable differences.
They have both always said that they will stay in a marriage as long as they're happy and as long as they're growing as individuals, and they were not going to stay together to complete each other. And perhaps now's the time when they realize that they need that distance to be their separate people.
Despite their breakup, Jen and Brad remained professional partners.
Her production company, Plan B, should still be a viable entity. I think that's a very good solution for somebody who needs to take the next step in their career.
Girl Next Door, TV princess, Hollywood goddess, friend. Is Jennifer Aniston America's sweetheart? A lot of people think so.
I think Jen can do anything she wants. That's what I truly think. And I wouldn't, say that or show up here if I thought any different.
She's a great dramatic actress. She's a great comedian. She can play any character, so I think the sky's the limit for her. I have never in my life met someone as genuinely kind and selfless as Jennifer, ever. There are very few people like that, you know?
When she's talking to you, you are the most important person in the room. And you do feel special when you're in her presence.
I got a great group of friends. I got a great family. I've got, a lot that keeps me real and down on the ground, which it's hard in this business. It's very seductive. It's very, you can buy into all the bull easily. I still have a hard time just kind of stepping outside and letting it be what it is, and me, I am what I am, and my life is what my life is. Actors are lucky too. They have that podium where they can get the message out there and they can make things happen.
Let me ask you a question, woman to woman. Would you let someone else choose your clothes, your friends? Okay, what about your husband? No? Then why would you let someone else choose your president? 4 years ago, 22 million single women didn't vote and left the choice to someone else. So unless you want someone else to make the decision for you, Make yourself heard and vote.